Now remember, only dicots go through secondary growth. Only dicots go through that secondary growth and grow bark and cork and all that. So I'm pretty sure you remember this. So we went over this already. In the vascular cambium, so there's first and secondary xylem, and then there's a first and secondary phloem. So the ones touching the vascular cambium are the secondary ones. So these lighter shades right here, this is secondary phloem. Closest to the center, this is primary phloem. This lighter shade of orange right here, this is a secondary phloem. And this darker shade of orange right here, these are the primary, the first or primary phloem. Primary phloem, secondary xylem, primary xylem. Alright, and what else do you need to know from here? Well, this is the cortex right here. Remember, the cortex is between the endodermis and the epidermis, so it's going to be this outer part right here. This is the cortex, and the pith, remember, is at the center. And then you're also going to have to probably remember what the rays are called. So those are basically the lines. And I'm pretty sure it goes over. So these lines right here, these lines coming from the center, those are called pith rays. You need to be able to identify all of these. I'm going to go over all of these. So this outer part right here, this is going to be the cork. This dark wooden outer part. Primary phloem is going to be closest to the outer part right here. This darker part. Secondary phloem is going to be closest to this vascular cambium, this border right here. So this is secondary phloem. And I already told you this border right here, this is the vascular cambium. So closest to this, the secondary xylem, closest to the vascular cambium, right here. Alright. Primary xylem is going to be closest to the center, so right here. Pith, the center right here. These rays right here, these lines, pith rays. That's pretty much it. I don't know if he's going to ask you the different leaves, but just in case, this is a simple leaf because it's just a regular leaf. Now, these fancy looking leaves, these are called compound leaves. And basically it's leaves, multiple leaves connected to one connection to the stem. This is only one. From this one connection, there's like, 12 or something like that right here. These are called leaflets. Remember the connection from the stem to the leaf, it's called the petiole. And here's the axillary bud right here. Little piece right here. Alright. And that's pretty much it. I don't think he's going to ask you like the parts of the leaves, but just in case, I would say just remember midrib veins. Midrib is that central vein right here. The veins extending from the outside. It's pretty much, and just know this is the blade. And he's highlighting these parts. So remember, this is called the petiole. Stipule, it's like the axillary butt, except it's below. Not above, below. So difference between leaves in dicots and monocots under the microscope. Dicots, complicated. They have two layers. The palisade mesophyll, which are these columns. That's what he calls them, a palisade. And then the spongy mesophyll. It's called a sponge because it's full of holes like SpongeBob. It's got a lot of extra space, okay? And the monocot is just called mesophyll because it's all the same. And that's pretty much to it. You know, the outer part, always called the epidermis. You need to know that this opening right here, though, is called the stoma. That's where gas exchange happens. And the cells around the stoma, they're called guard cells because they're guarding the opening, like a gate. to know this is the bundle sheath right here. That's where basically the bundle sheath is the border, and the inside is xylem and phloem. Xylem is always going to be larger than phloem. Remember that. So these huge circles right here, xylem. Phloem is basically everything else. And that's pretty much what you need to know for that. Except in monocots, there's this thing called bulliform cells, but we'll go into that later. I need to hurry up because it's up to 30 minutes now. So be able to identify dicot leaf, palisade mesophyll, spongy mesophyll, epidermis, cuticle, guard cells, vascular bundle, stomata. Monocot leaf, mesophyll cells, bulliform cells, epidermis, bundle sheath cells, xylem, phloem, stomata. So palisade, remember, these long columns go like a palisade. No, barely any space openings. Spongy mesophyll, bunch of free space. Epidermis, outer layer right here, these cells right here. Now the cuticle is going to be this pink border right here. Pink border. It's kind of like the Casparian strip. It's what makes the leaf sort of waterproof. Water can only leave through the stomata opening. And this picture is horrible because it didn't show the stomata. Let me see if right here I can get stomata. Looks like no. It's going to be obvious. It's going to be a small opening. You'll be able to tell. Vascular bundle. It's this thing right here. Shit, I moved it again. Monocot leaf. This is all mesophyll right here. This is the bundle sheath cells right here. Just think of that. Oh, this thing kind of looks like Spider-Man. And he does. One of the greatest heroes ever.